Hi, everybody. Good morning. I know I'm doing a really early stream today. Very early stream. I just felt like going live. Channel's been dead for so long. I thought even a boring, silent live video going up on my channel might help my stats ever so slightly. Needs to be better than nothing, right? So I haven't been doing much lately. Watching a lot of Buffy and Angel and Once Upon a Time and Lucifer reactions on YouTube. That's been my thing lately. Been listening to a lot of Harry Dresden audiobooks again. My library for the blind just sent me a majority of the later books, so that makes me happy. Getting really into Edwardian era Jane Austen type stuff. I'm thinking about writing a story that takes place in that time frame. I don't know anywhere near enough about the era, and I don't have the fortitude for that kind of research. Um, what else? Oh, in the vein of Jane Austen, I was watching the 2008, I believe, mini-series of Sense and Sensibility a lot this summer. It's a 3-part mini-series. I also have the 95 movie. And I can't decide which Christopher Brandon I like better, if I like David Morrissey or Alan Rickman. I mean, I thought Alan Rickman stole my heart in that movie. Nobody's ever going to beat that, but David Morrissey is at least giving him a run for his money, if not beating him. So, trying to deal with all that. See, these live streams are the only time I actually wish I was a little bit more popular, because a lot of live streams I tend to attend always have people waiting for them to start, and they're just rearing and ready to interact. And when you're a really small, tiny channel, and a lot of people can't do that, they have lives. So you're talking to dead air. That part always sucks a little, but maybe someday I'll have just enough to where I'll go, hey, this is cool. I got 3 people waiting. Only one of them wants to talk, but I got 3 people waiting. That's awesome. That type of thing. I have ambition, but my ambitions are modest. I got OBS for my laptop, so hopefully I'll be able to start doing fancy dancy things, like having guests like Andy talking or showing up on my show visually. But I still have no idea how to use that program. I actually just got Hit Film Express put back on my computer, and apparently it functions a little differently now, because I can't even figure out how to put up and edit a banner. It's really bad. It's like, how do I do this? Because I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and fiddle until I learn. Then I can start doing pre-recorded reviews again, which is the easiest way for me to do a review. I'm probably going to go to the short review format of just, these are my general thoughts. This is the basic idea of the plot. Goodbye. Try to stay away from spoilers. I don't know what I'm going to do. I personally love the long format. I love video essays. I love hour-long analyses, deep dives, but I don't have the intellect to pull that shit off for myself. So going down to cut short videos would probably be the easier thing to do. There are some good movies out there that I think I'd like to try to see, like The Vigil and Saint Maud sound really good. But I haven't really heard of that many new movies that are coming out that sound good. I'm still waiting to see the Candyman remake sequel. That looks at least interesting. I do love Candyman. I love Candyman, the original with Tony Todd. I really like the sequel, Farewell to the Flesh. There is a third one that sucks donkey balls. I mean, most people just, we don't talk about Candyman 3. That doesn't actually exist. Yeah, kind of like Poltergeist, although, yes, Poltergeist 3 actually exists in my book because it's an important, with Heather O'Rourke, the young actress who played Carol Ann, that's a very, very important movie because she died making that film, and I like to respect her little short-lived legacy. But if it wasn't for that, yeah, Poltergeist 3 would be we don't talk about that. That one doesn't exist. Because the first one's excellent. The second one is excellent. So. I supposedly have people here. That's always cool. I hope I'm not boring you to death. I mean, like I said, I just felt like going live and putting an extra video up, so maybe my channel has some vague chance of slightly more visibility. Like I said, my ambitions are modest. I just don't want my I don't want my channel to be invisible. I'd like it to be slightly visible to some people. And the more videos I put up, the better chance that might happen at some point. Watch me spill this all over myself now. Gotta turn my magnifier on. Is that you, Andy? No. Hey, Andy, how's it going? How long have you been listening to me ramble bullshit? Can you hear me okay? Good job, Vinny. You can go to watching TV now, or YouTube, on the TV only. My kid is home from school today. They don't have in-classes, except for special ed kids, which he is, but I'm trying to have him only go 2 days a week and be virtual homeschooling the rest of the week. Put that Zoom thing on in case it starts, okay? I joined as you mentioned me. Yeah. Definitely summoned. Well, when I mentioned you earlier, possibly doing guest appearance now that I have OBS again, if I ever figure out how to learn it, or just because I recognized you saying hello there. Vinny, come here. I know you always like to get your moment in, so I happen to be live right now. Figured I'd let you have your moment now. Oh, where'd my magnifier go? It's right there. That part. There you go. Look, Andy's there. Would you like to say hello? Hello, Andy. There's 3 people here. That's what it says. The OBS thing, yeah. I still have to learn how to use that. I'm really, really confused by it, and all I've done is look at the, hey, what do you want to do to go live thing? Because it won't let me get past that to experiment. Still trying to figure out hit film. Gonna have to relearn that all over again. Time for YouTube tutorial videos. Ugh, I hate those things, but gotta do what I gotta do. I have a techie friend who's always trying to tell me things, but I always get his attention first thing in the morning. He's not a morning person, and he's hopped up on macchiato cappuccino or something like that. So he sends me walls of text in response, and I'm like, you realize you lost me after the first 4 words because I'm not a techie. And I'm right here. Yes, you are. That person is me. All right, so what are you going to do now? Gonna watch some YouTube? Yeah. Yeah, gonna keep it turned down low so you don't bother Nana? Yeah. All right. I may be mistaken. Hey, Vinny, make sure that Zoom window is open, okay? And close my door all the way, please. Yeah, so there was your youngest fan again, Andy. I'm already running out of things to talk about. This sucks. I'm trying to remember. I did get a bunch of the audiobooks, but 2 of the ones I've been listening to so far are not James Marsters reading them. I don't think they sent me the commercial audiobooks, although I expressly asked for them. So that sucked. I know one of the books that's commercial is not James Marsters because there was a family emergency that apparently happened 2 days before recording was supposed to start. So he wasn't going to be able to be there to do the recording. So they had to quickly replace him for 1 book. But that's not the case of what I have. I think that was even for Ghost Story. And Ghost Story is one of the ones I'm missing because I have the books in order I wanted Turncoat, but I guess I forgot to ask for it because that's where the books go from. Hey, these are pretty good to I'm amazed all the way up to the last books anyway. It's Turncoat, which I don't have. Then Changes, which is the best book in the entire series, like book 11 or 12. Ghost Story, which I don't have. Then Cool Days, Skin Game, Peace Talks, and Battlegrounds. So, yeah, I have 5 of the books. I just weirded myself out there. That was random. What are you doing? I don't know what he's saying. It did not sound like English. So, still here, Andy? Do you know anything about Jane Austen books? Like anything at all? Like fuck all? Anything? Still hearing nothing. Okay, there is a bee on one of the covers. Hello, Casey Link. I don't think I've seen you here before. A bee on a cover for what? Jane Austen book? Just made up for Doctor Who. Are you still referring to Jane Austen? I'm just curious because I can look up. I can actually look this up. This would be okay. This would be something to do. It's gonna be a lot easier for me to do on my phone. Jane Austen book covers. These pictures should match. Yeah, they should. That's what I looked up. Are you thinking of Agatha Christie? Yes, I believe he's asking that of you, Casey. Are you thinking of an Agatha Christie book? Yeah, I take it you know of an Agatha Christie book with a bee on its cover, huh? Wow, some of these are vastly different, which, really shouldn't surprise me too much. See, this is when learning how to use OBS so I can have things shared would be helpful. I think I was. I'm not perfect at names. You don't have to be perfect at names. All right, so why don't we shoot some questions at each other, right? Agatha Christie was in a Doctor Who episode with a giant bee. Oh, that's funny. That's cool. Yes, a lot of Jane Austen covers have ladies on their covers wearing, Edwardian era clothes with empire waists and bonnets. Sometimes a gentleman with a silk top hat. Usually just the protagonist or some interpretation of the protagonist, though. She was definitely the queen of the comedy of manners. I've read Sense and Sensibility and Pride and Prejudice so far. I still want to read Mansfield Park and Emma. And I am going to check out a couple of her others because they're available to me to read, but I don't really have a distinct desire to read those specific books. I just think it would do me good to read more for bibliography. Like Persuasion. I think there are others, but I can't remember all of them. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the books in spite of how very stiff and formal they are. It's hard to catch the cutting wit and the satire in her narration because of how formal the language was at the time. But if you guys ever watched Dominic Noble and his Lost in Adaptation, he's done 2 videos on Pride and Prejudice, and the first one he did was fucking hilarious. I mean, oh my god, he's really funny and he's good at exemplifying the sass that she used at the time. I love books and would love to read a lot, but I'm very slow at reading, and my disabilities don't help. I'm writing a book, but not reading many books. It's hard. I can understand that. I mean, I am legally blind, so I listen to audiobooks. I get them from the Bureau for the Blind, the Library for the Blind. Will send me digital audiobooks that I have to return. And they're really, really, I'm lucky. They're really, really lax about their loaning. So I'll just call them and be like, yeah, I'm not going to be returning this one to you in the 60 days because I'm obsessed with it or I don't have time for it. And they'll be like, just return it when you can. And they'll just tend not to send you more until you've returned what they sent you. Yeah, Dominic Noble is really funny, really, really funny. I don't agree with him on all of the things that he does. For instance, I happen to be a Twihard fan. It just is what it is. So I tend to get a little bit prickly when I'm watching like his Twilight reviews, but I've also learned how to come down off of that, like, don't get offended and just laugh along type space. But like the past 6, 7, 10 years, there's been a lot of stuff that I've really, really loved that people have attacked. So I just automatically start coming from that prickly place. And I'm just starting to learn that, well, just don't look at that stuff if you're worried about people attacking it, you know? Just stay away from it. If you love it, you love it. There's no shame in it. There's somebody else that exemplifies that, which is great, who's also another kind of Twihard fan. Have you heard of Amanda the Jedi? She's a lot of fun too. I love Amanda. She'll cover a lot of things. She doesn't just do like movie and TV show type reviews. She'll talk about books. She'll go on these huge rants about, assholes, that like the Gwyneth Paltrow stuff, all the ways that she's an asshole, and she'll denounce Dr. Phil and all kinds of stuff. Whatever is, whatever has a hair across her ass cheeks, she'll vent about it. She has some very funny videos. All right. So far it's just the two of you, and Andy, you happen to know me pretty well, but why don't we kind of make this a random Q&A, ask me, not too deeply personal stuff, obviously, but ask me any random thing you want. Oh, I thought you'd post it again for a second. I slid my magnifying glass out. Whoopsies. See if I can do this without spilling it on myself again. Stay. Don't fall. You'll fall on my computer if you fall. Wouldn't surprise me if I'm sitting here like, I love Twilight, and Casey's just, I'm out. We live in a very weird, oops. I suck at asking questions. I can never come up with anything. I'm the worst for that. Well, it could be anything random. You can ask me about movies, books. Have you seen a lot of my videos? Just wondering. I still need to finish Pyramid Head's episode that he posted last night. But yeah, I'm actually pretty good about coming on here and just being like, these are my favorite YouTubers. Check them out. I always talk about at least one YouTuber. I almost mention Andy on every single video because, quite frankly, Andy, you're one of the guys that responded to me when I reached out even tentatively to go, hey, dude, how's it going? And, it helped me feel encouraged to be proactive about, going to do this, to do YouTube. So every little tiny bit helps. And I try to pay back a little. Now you can tell I'm rambling to fill in the dead air. But that's okay. I wasn't expecting miracles here today. I just felt like going live for the sake of the channel. My throat's been a little tickly since yesterday. I hope I'm not coming down with anything. Of course, in the days of the pandemic, it's always scary when you start coughing. But if a tickly throat is all I got to worry about, I think we're doing good. I'm going to go grab my favorite movie is The Fifth Element. What do you like about The Fifth Element? I haven't watched it in years. I mean, I loved it when I first saw it in like middle school on a field trip on a bus, I think. It's not the kind of movie I'd ever pick up on my own. And then I watched it several times after that, and I did love it at the time. I think if I had been conscious of who Gary Oldman was at the time, I probably would have been watching it solely for him. But I need to go grab myself a cup so I can actually pour this into something and drink it sensibly. Give me just a second. I forgot I had a little hot teacup sitting out there, and I'm like, I better drink this before I go back to this peach tea, but it's cold. Not quite room temperature cold, but just above it. Cooler than tepid, but not room temperature. Not joking to me. Okay. To me personally, it's almost my perfect movie. Action is great, comedy is great, characters and who they got to play them is great. The world setting is amazing. Music too. I'm gonna have to rewatch it because honestly, I can't judge it anymore. I can say there are a lot of things. I'm not a comedy girl. So movies that have a lot of heavy comedy, although I probably do have a dozen or so that I really love. Like I like rom-coms if they're not too comedic. Like there are two really funny type and even crass funny, which I don't do crass funny very much, that I love for some reason, which are What's Your Number and the red phone. I forget what it's called, but it's about two roommate girls. One woman moves in with another roommate and then finds out the woman she moved in with is a phone sex operator, and she becomes a phone sex operator, and it's about their friendship and the guys that they meet and kind of fall for and fall out of and stuff like that. But it's really funny. I just forget the name of it off the top of my head right now. I've seen it like the once. But, the other types, I'm more of a Kate and Leopold person. I do see you there, Andy. I'm just going to finish my thought before I read your thing. So comedic stuff to me, it's like I like Mel Brooks comedy. I love The Princess Bride. But again, they're very specific, slim line of types of comedies I generally like. So like The Fifth Element, a little too comedic for my taste, really. So I'd have to rewatch it today and see where it sits. So I really usually don't do camp. Like camp, I'm out. Like there are still like, there are a good dozen ones that are the exceptions, but generally if I know it's camp, I'll stay away from it. Let's see. I forget if you mentioned this before, but have you read or heard Skullduggery Pleasance? It seems like a series you'd like. You've mentioned it before in your Twitch streams, but I haven't found anything on them in my area. I don't think I've asked the Library for the Blind if they have anything, but I know my libraries don't. I'm going to have to check out Hoopla. Let me check out my Hoopla app and see if they have it. Because then maybe I can check that out. Pizza? Pizza? What the heck? Pizza? Hello, pizza? I don't know if we'll be able to do this right. Skull. Duggery. Why can't I spell today? Easents. What is meant by leading blind? I am a blind person who is trying to review and recommend movies. That's all it's meant. Let's see. Who are they? Did you mention Skullduggery Pleasance? Is that a pen name or is that the name of the series, Andy? I'm assuming it's the series, but I figured I'd ask. Oh, look, a bunch of Harry Potter came up with the results. Oh, you don't have to be sorry. You asked a question you didn't know the answer to. That's fine. That's just the name I go by, and I tend to, it's just my quirk that when my videos pop up and it say, what do you want the title to be? It will automatically have Leading Blind and a semicolon there, and then I just put the topic I'm on about that day after it. I thought about deleting it, but it's a quirk that I have. I like it. I think it makes me me. It's the series. The author is Derek Landy. Okay. Why do I keep opening YouTube? Like somebody's gonna post while I'm here. I'm being an idiot. Okay, gotta open Hoopla again. Derek Landy. You know, Andy, I did get the Constantine season 1 for Christmas, and you'd think I would have devoured that by now, but for some reason, I just haven't been in the frickin' mood. I haven't even sat through the first episode. I don't know why. I know at some point I'm going to. I'm just going to be like, I need to freaking watch that show, and I need to do it now, and I'm just going to eat the whole season up. But, like, my mom and I are very slowly getting through the Dead Zone, because I've only seen, like, the first 2.5 seasons of that, and I have the entire series. But I'm not in any rush to watch it. It's like you would think, especially since I have never finished the series, there's like 5.5 seasons after that, you think I'd want to watch all of it. But I guess maybe I'm afraid of being disappointed or something. Who knows? Okay, this this doesn't even say Derek Landy anywhere, does it? Authors and artists. This is what I got for what I found. There was one thing that I found. No, go back. Wait, you already did that. Black Order, the War Master, something or other. I think I found a comic book. This is the only thing that came up. I don't know how well you can see that. It actually looks really good with my color inversion on. Let's see. What's this say? They are the scourge of the Avengers, the Cull Obsidian, Thanos' most feared warriors. Now the ruthless Black Order has been dispatched by the Grand Master to destabilize a ... See more. So I guess I don't have access to the Skullduggery stuff at all at this time. Have you heard about the pasta that fell on the floor? No, haven't. It passed away. Cute. Very cute. So let's see, what else? What other books have I checked out? I think I already did this one of the last times I had a random stream, but it never hurts to go to Goodreads and look at what have I read. I'd see if I can find an audiobook for you. Okay, that'd be cool. Thanks. See, I have 2 audiobook apps on my phone. They're both library based, so I plug my library card information in and it tells me what's available to take out. Hoopla is great because I don't have to wait for a lot of the books, and Libby you do, and their selection is a lot smaller. Like you get like this much for Libby, and you often have to put books on hold because you have to wait for other people to return them, and there's usually a waiting list, especially for the popular ones. Like a Stephen King novel, like 11/22/63, you could be waiting 6 months for that book. You're the one who is cute. Stay happy, sister. See you later, maybe. Well, thanks, I guess. Randomness. At least you're being upfront about it and not totally creepy. Amanda just found out she has some kind of very creepy commenter stalking her videos. No, that's my books. How can something digital be not available? Well, it's just that some libraries have them in their database and some don't. And they can only stretch so far in terms of how many people can take them out at once. You know, it's just what they have to work with is very limited. And Hoopla has a huge selection of everything. I can't just take out books and audiobooks from them. I can take out audiobooks, books, ebooks, you know, movies, CDs, comic books, magazines. I mean, it's a big list of options, and there are a lot of options in each thing. Like, if I look up just horror on Libby, I might get 16 titles, let's say. Just throw a number out there. There's more than that, but we'll go with 16. And it probably doesn't help that all my settings say show what's available right now. On Hoopla, there's like 117. So there's a lot more to work with. Oh, I'm getting a phone call, guys. Hello? Hi, I'm streaming. Oh, okay, thank you. Bye. My husband just saved my life. I had to answer because it was my husband. He just saved my life. Excuse me for a second, guys. I was not paying attention to the day. Is it really? Oh my God, it is the 24th. I was not paying attention to the actual date. And it's my girl's birthday. My best friend, my sister from another mister. I know she never watches my videos, but happy birthday, Tiff. I love you, girl. I was gonna say the big thing about Hoopla, yeah, Wednesday 24th, is that the big thing about Hoopla is they only let you take out 5 things a month. And they do have like a section you can look at every month that's like you can get these ones that don't count against your takes, your 5, but I'm usually not interested in those. I'm just not. Like a lot of the movies that are free this month, as they would put it, they're just not interesting. They're like documentary biopic type things for the most part, or educational stuff, which is great. And I'm sure eventually they might have a topic I'm into, but I'm just not. Literary fiction that I'm not as into for the most part. Yeah, that type of thing is in the free books a lot. Again, autobiographies, biographies. I've got to send my girl actually, send her a sticker. Sticker would be nicer. Gotta find a good one for her. All right. And, all right, I'll go back to my Goodreads thing in a minute. But it really bugs me. There's a lot of things about Hoopla that are starting to bug me because I'm a huge fan of the Opera Freak, And there are versions out there I still haven't been able to watch. But one of the versions I haven't been able to watch yet came up on my Hoopla app. And I got to watch it on my phone on a screen about this big. So I'm sitting here watching the screen like this, trying to catch everything, that's happening on this tiny screen all at once. And it's a slightly darker movie. No, it's not nearly as dark as some movies. Like Gretel and Hansel is really freaking dark. Like that movie's literally unwatchable 78 to 89% of the time. I can't remember because the movie's just not even that great to me. But it's so dark that I can't even see it. The Witch is a little brighter. I can see a lot of the stuff that happens in that, or at least get the gist of it. It's fine. I love that movie. This family opera is nothing like that. It's not that dark, but still trying to see something. But I realized after I'd watched it, it had a cast to screen option. But I only have one smart TV and it's in the living room. So I tried to take it out again this month and cast it to the TV, but that button was no longer an option. Like it's sitting there, but it wasn't like pushable. Pissed me off. Last Harry Potter movie was dark 90%. Yeah, but it wasn't that dark. It wasn't like there was no light source. It was just like really bad day for night feel. It was just very, very blue. I don't feel like it was that dark. I can see every single thing that happens in that movie. So, but Gretel and Hansel was like almost pitch black in a lot of areas. Like the lighting barely, the natural lighting. I don't even think they used all natural lighting. Like The Witch actually used natural lighting, which is why there's a historical anachronism in there where they have candles all over the place when they would not have candles all over the place in that time period because candles cost a lot of freaking money. That was kind of their version of the electric bill. But they needed it for proper lighting, so that was very well lit. Gretel and Hansel felt like they still did more than would have been done at the time, but to a much more detrimental visual extent. Does that make sense? So, I mean, it's sometimes I wonder, is it really just me? Is it my eyes? Am I watching it at the wrong time of day? Like another one, The Lodge. The Lodge is a really excellent film, and it's not all that dark, but there are moments where it's dark enough where I have no idea what the fuck is going on. No clue. Okay, I got questions. What is everybody's favorite fantasy movie? It can be mixed with any other genre, but it does have to be a full-bore fantasy of some kind. So it can be fantasy sci-fi as long as the fantasy is there. Fantasy horror, it can be anything. Because I think I have a tie for top place for mine. I need to make my magnifying glass a little bigger. Zoom in 400%. There we go. I should be able to see that better. Hey, I don't even need my physical magnifying glass now. Yay. Spirited Away? Is that a I'm trying to remember. Spirited Away, that's an anime manga type thing, right? I think I've heard of it. I think I've seen the poster for it. I'm not a big manga anime person. I have a select couple. To be honest, I was introduced to anime through hentai, so the ones I like are actually more in the perverted realm. But yeah, so once I got over that in my teenage years, I didn't branch out to a whole lot of anime or manga or anything like that. Animated. Yeah, I think it counts. I'm pretty sure it does. Let's see what IMDb has to say about the genre placing. Oh, what the hell was that? Oh, okay. My girl responded. I just didn't hear it. I haven't talked to her in months. I haven't seen her in over a year because of this whole freaking pandemic. Because her mother is a high risk, my grandmother is at high risk, and my mom likes to go see, of course, her mother as regular as she can. So we try not to expose each other to possible issues, especially since my town tends to be a hot spot. That's why I only have my son going to school twice a week when he should be going every single day, because his IEP says he can go every single day of the week, even Wednesdays when nobody else is really there except for the specialized programs. Web browser. Most Miyazaki films. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, I don't watch them, but I do follow a lot of people who love anime, and they'll talk about it. Are either of you familiar with Overly Sarcastic Productions, the YouTube channel? You still haven't gotten your stuff in yet, have you, Andy? I can't wait for you to be filming again. Because I'm nice? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You can always come in as long as you don't get, like angry, nasty, and creepy. As long as people don't get those things, I'm usually okay. Where's the thing that says the genres? See, this is the funny thing. I'm actually not used to looking for that on here. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with looking and just seeing what it has to say about it. It's really, really weird that it doesn't actually say. Animation, adventure, family, fantasy, and mystery. So, yes, Spirited Away counts as a fantasy film. Do you have a favorite fantasy, Andy, or pizza? Sorry, it feels really strange to call you pizza. Maybe I'll just call you P, if that's okay. Well, that's worse. No, I got it. Harry Dresden reference. I'll call you the Za-Lord or Za-Lady, whichever. No, I have no idea. I have no idea what you are. I will not make assumptions. You have eye problems, I have brain problems. I'm emotionally numb, so never angry. Oh, okay. Fair enough. If the emotionally numb thing is a sort of psychological distress, I certainly hope that you can, heal from that. If it's like a sociopathy, then welcome regardless. I know people who are on that scale. I'm married to one, actually. Fantasy isn't your genre. Yeah, you like a few. You don't have a favorite? Okay, fair enough. But you do like horror, and some fantasy meshes with horror. See, two of my favorite fantasies of all time are Legend, which I know you're not a fan of, but I grew up watching Legend. That's my jam. And Pan's Labyrinth, which is kind of like a horror fairy tale. So it's high fantasy, but it's also fantasy realism, and it's fantasy horror, and it's a lot of things. It's really cool. Well, thank you, pizza. If it's just your thing that you do all caps, I understand that there's somebody else I know that just that's what they are. They do cap locks, but you don't have to do that. Okay. It's for some reason. I mean, like for my another friend of mine, I've gotten used to that just being their thing, but it does feel like somebody yelling through the screen. So you don't have to do that. I'm not saying you can't though. Pan's Labyrinth, yeah. Pan's Labyrinth is excellent. My live action one would be the typical Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything typical about loving that one. There are a lot of people out there who can't stand Lord of the Rings at all. I don't think I didn't see Lord of the Rings until I barely even heard of Lord of the Rings. It was out on DVD before I finally watched it. That one's always going to be a memory to me, though, because my first kiss, like my first quote unquote official kiss, is actually surrounded around that movie, sort of, kind of. Not exactly, not really, but same day. Now, if I was going to think about the movie Private Parts, that's a lot more closely connected because that was actually on at the time. But watched Lord of the Rings the same day, so I always remember that. And let's face it, Lord of the Rings is way fucking better than Private Parts. The bigger letters would be easy to read. Which one is my favorite movie all around, Zah? Or because I love all kinds of movies. I own over 1,000 movies. It's really hard to pick a specific favorite. As a matter of fact, I usually actually have to get down to the subgenre level before I can start picking my top 5 favorites. Like if you said, what's your favorite film noir movie? I don't know if I'd have a favorite film noir movie. Would Streetcar Named Desire count as film noir? Because I think noir and I think detective, and Streetcar Named Desire is definitely not a detective story. I think film noir, and I think of like the Maltese Falcon. Yeah. It's potential that the cap blocks would sometimes be easier for me to read, but it also just throws me off. I'm very pedantic when it comes to writing and grammar. So I see a bunch of caps locks in a row, and I'm like, there's nothing here to tell me what kind of sentence I'm reading. Sometimes, not all the time, sometimes. So like I said, there's nothing wrong with you doing it either. Superhero movie? Okay, I think I have a couple of favorites. I'm not into superheroes. I like Batman stuff, so I like most of the Batman movies that have come out. I have not seen Superman versus Batman, but I like most of the Batman movies that have come out, and I like the movie Hancock. I love loads and have loads too. Like when someone asks me what my favorite genre is, I don't have one. That's fair. As if I like a movie, I like it. Yeah, just like music and games. If I like it, I like it. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm not a really big gamer, so I haven't even played a lot of games, but I know I like the Grand Theft Auto series. I know I like the Last of Us games. Right now, I'm obsessed with Sims 4, even though it's not even that entertaining a game. It's actually more of an I'm going to beat this motherfucker bitch, because it's a very difficult strategic game to play, actually, to progress characters and stuff. Like Sonic. Hancock didn't get a sequel. Well, I don't know if Hancock needed a sequel. It did have a pretty weak bottom third, but what is my favorite in superhero movies? Well, like I said, I don't love superhero movies, so Hancock is one of my favorites. It's a superhero comedy. If I had to pick out the Batman movies, because those are kind of the only superhero movies I like, is Batman. I haven't even watched almost anything in the DCU or the MCU, really. Let's see. Okay, I do like the first few, like 3 or so X-Men movies. So I will say my favorite X-Men movie is the first one. And my favorite Batman movie is probably The Dark Knight or Batman Returns. That I could narrow it down to those. The second in either series, strangely enough. I don't like Superman. I don't like Thor. I've never given Iron Man a fair shot. I don't have any interest in Guardians of the Galaxy. My son was watching that with my mom one day, and just not into that kind of aesthetic. I did watch the first 2 Thor movies though, and they were entertaining. Endgame and Time Heist. Okay, cool. That's all good. Can like whatever you like, you know. I like psychological thrillers / horrors. Like I've done a review of Magic, which is an excellent film. Audrey Rose is another one from the 70s. I always have to mention them because so few people know about them. A lot of people would find Audrey Rose quite dull, I would think, and not extremely logical, but I just personally love it. Very psychological type, traumatic issues in that. Um, Old horror. I don't like old horror. I do like the silent Phantom of the Opera, but that's more of a Phantom of the Opera thing than an old quote unquote horror movie. It was not supposed to be horror, so some people like me are a little prickly about that. I don't watch the old Universal movies. I don't watch most of the old Hammer horror movies. Uh, Again, Phantom of the Opera would be an exception because it's Phantom of the Opera. But in terms of like middle ground, I love 60s, 70s horror movies, some of them. I can't even really name that many, to be honest. But I love The Bad Seed. For whoever mentioned, they also love Dominic Noble. You've probably seen his review of Boston adaptation of The Bad Seed. He's got issues with the acting in that one. I don't. I take in melodrama like it's candy. I freaking love that shit. So I love that movie. What's awesome, pizza? It's a little out of I am switching topics so fast that I know I don't know what you're responding to. Sorry. I do need to slow down. You taste the movies? Oh, thank you. Roughly same era. I love A Streetcar Named Desire. There's a movie I have not seen in years and years and years. I know it was one of Christopher Lee's least favorite things to ever film, but I need to see it again because I didn't even know who Christopher Lee was back when I owned the VHS. But it's on Hoopla. To the Devil a Daughter. It was like one of the later Hammer horror films, just as they were starting to really dwindle down and suck. But I remember enjoying it back when I got it. I was like, oh, it's a devil movie. I gotta watch this. uh, then again, there are things like that came out in like the late 70s, early 80s, like miniseries like Sybil. I fucking love Sybil. Now, I read the book that it's supposedly based on. They're pretty damn different, and everybody nowadays knows that the book Sybil is nowhere near truth. The psychiatrist who basically wrote that book was exploiting a mentally ill client who probably had none of those things actually happening and was using a lot of that. Andy, help me out. What's that? That drug that people use for hypnosis that can actually cause false memories? I can't remember what it's called. Christopher Lee was in a Captain America 2 movie. Very odd thing. Oh, interesting. Cool. I mean, I do love Christopher Lee. Of course, if I'd stopped to think about it, my son would probably actually be named Christopher instead of Vincent because I like Christopher Lee's stuff. I like more of Christopher Lee's stuff than I like Vincent's stuff. It's a price of stuff. But then again, I named Vincent for 2 Vincents, so that makes up for it. But yeah, lost track of what I was saying. I guess my point is I named him Vincent partially after Vincent Price, and I've only seen like 2 things he's really in. I tried to watch a third and couldn't get into that one. My favorite was Krish. My favorite was Krish. I'm sorry, I don't know that. I don't get that reference. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm reading it wrong or it's typed wrong or if it's just something I have 0 reference to. It's probably that one. It's the name of a movie. Oh, Okay, got it. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, but if I wouldn't have named my son Christopher because he has an uncle Christopher, and I don't like repetitive names. I don't like even similar sounding names. We adopted our dog, and he came with the name Ezra, but my cousin has a kid named Ezra, and as unlikely as it is, they will be in the same space more than 2 or 3 times in the young man's lifetime. I'm not doing repetitive names because it's bad enough we have 8 L names on one side of my family. Because we have a Liz, a Lizzie, although I don't know if she's actually part of the life anymore. Our life, I think they're divorced. A Lindsay, Eliza, Elisa, and I know there's somebody else. I just can't remember. I think there's another one. So there's 5 or 6 L's, and they're very, very close. Liz, Lizzie, Lisa, Liza, Lindsay. They're so similar that it's like you get in a crowded room on Christmas, and it's like, hey, Liz, Liz, Liz. Somebody might think you're calling Lindsay, like and saying Linz, or they might just be hearing Lise, And both the Liz's would go by Lizzie, depending on who was talking to them. So it gets a little crazy. Plus, it's like when your parent gets a little crazy and they're trying to yell at you, but you have siblings, so you just get every single name down the line. And as you get older and there are younger generations, like my brother is the last of 5 kids, and he's got like a whole bunch of nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews. And his mother will just go straight down the line from oldest to youngest and sometimes past the person she's talking about in order to just try and yell at the person she's yelling at. And their names are nothing near the same. I have a friend, and he and his brother called Glenn and Glynn. Oh, I have no clue why you would want to name your 2 children something that close. And sounds lazy. Yeah, well, is Glenn or Glenn, is either one of them short for something? Are they nicknames? Or are they actually Glenn and Glynn? Oh, sometimes I get really sick of listening to the Five Nights at Freddy's music. My son is obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's music. The real problem comes when they are twins and have the same name. Yeah, I don't. Can you imagine George Foreman's kids? He's got 5 kids, and they're all named George. I mean, I feel like that had to have been some kind of a joke of his, but no, all 5 of his kids are George. I mean, that is a man who's got a bit of an ego. And I don't mean an evil ego, I just mean nepotism. I don't know. My mom did that all the time. 4 children, and she will say every name first, but the one she meant. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. My son gets called his uncle's name all the time because we live with my mom. Their actual names? Okay. Yeah. My son is Vinny, and my brother's name is Billy. So Vinny, Billy, close enough so that way my mom, my mom trips all the time. And it actually got really funny because I'll do the same thing. My childhood sweetheart, I knew him for like years and years and years and years. He was my best friend. And he has a different name now because he chose to legally change it, but his name is Jay. And I got really close with my husband, and even before we were married, we just got to this close point where if I was like, not even irritated, just if I was like trying to get his attention or if I was like emphatic about something, I would go to call his name, and his name's Dean. I'd be like, Jay, Dean, what the fuck? I do the same thing all the time. The only thing I tend not to do, I tend to call my son and my dog by their separate names by accident. That's where I screw up. Sorry about that. My dog is my other kid. So sometimes we get Enzo or Vinny, and they'll get yelled at each other, and Vinny's like, I didn't do that. Oh, I'm sorry. Enzo! Okay, thanks for popping in, Andy. I'm glad you could poke your head in. It's always nice having you around. Can almost always count on you. Have a good day. I'll try to catch up with you in your stream. Cute family? Well, thank you. Take care, Andy. But yeah, we do a lot of crazy things. All right, so I think I got it out of my system. I went live, maybe helped my channel out because people actually got to show up. And yeah, you guys, if you haven't, you should go check out Deus's channel. Okay, he does a lot of horror movies. He's done about maybe half the season, if that, of Constantine. He did stop, but he's done that. It's really good. He's doing a Hannibal retrospective. He hasn't been putting out very many videos lately because I know he's waiting for things to be shipped to him so that he can continue making his videos. Don't know the whole story behind it. I just know that's what's going on. Love his videos, so definitely go watch him. I got started watching his videos because I was looking for a playlist of Hellraiser reviews. I started with a Decker Shadows playlist, and then I found Andy's, and I love his reviews of the Hellraiser series, and I love his review of the Prophecy series. Prophecy is probably one of, oh, good. I'm glad you have, Casey. I'm glad you have. Probably one of my favorite reviews that he's done is the original 3 Prophecy movies. And if you haven't seen them, if you have Hulu, they're up there. All 5 of them are up there if you're interested in watching the Prophecy movies. I wouldn't recommend the 4th and 5th one, but they're there. I'm not going to stop you. Let's see. I said at the beginning of my stream that I've been watching a whole lot of oh, my friend replied again. I didn't even think about it. Come see me. I love her. I miss her. She's my girl. Tiffany's my girl. Best friend. I'm just gonna look through my my channels and see if there are people I would recommend. There are a lot I'm not going to recommend because they are just reaction video. Well, no, I might actually. I will tell you what they are. Allie Box is watching Angel and Buffy, and she's doing reactions to those. Amanda the Jedi, great. Amy Lovett's for musicals. Cinema Rules, they're a newer channel. They just are watching movies, horror movies, a lot of classic horror movies that they've never seen. I guess they're, you know, either they're just into new horror or they just entered the horror community. Don't know. Cinema Therapy, that's fun. Decker Shadow, Deus Deacon, Dominic Noble. Drunk on Writing. The Drunk on Writing videos are really good. I watch him because he does a lot of Stephen King dissections. He talks about the books and then he talks about their adaptations. And he's not trying to do like Dom does, where it's a lost in adaptation thing. He just likes to talk about the stories. I mean, he's doing the same thing, but he's doing it on a different, deeper level in some ways. And he's not doing it funny like Dom will do. I'm just trying to think of, since I do a lot of horror stuff on my channel, I'm trying not to go, oh, check this person out. They talk about Jane Austen novels and period things related to the Edwardian era and musicals. I'm trying to stay away from those unless you guys are interested. Fan theories or another reaction video. Conflicts. Games as literature. I like this guy. He talks about themes and character-driven stuff and all sorts of stuff in video games. Like he has one of his last videos he posted was Is Last of Us 2 One Big Guilt Trip, I think is the title of it. I'm not exactly sure on the title, but it's close to that. And it's really, really good. He's a good channel. I don't watch a lot of his videos because I'm not a huge gamer. I'm not very advanced in the video games he's talking about. And if I don't know anything about the video game he's talking about, there's less interest, but that doesn't mean his shit's not good. You love musicals? Well, awesome. Then you might like Emily Clark. And well, Funny Fan 2 does she actually does fan videos, a lot of like music video type stuff, fan videos. In Praise of Shadows is pretty good. He actually did a wait, let me make sure this is who I think it is. Okay, didn't want to I get some of my them confused. In Praise of Shadows actually did a 3-part series on witches at one point. Like he talked about the history of witches, and then history witches in literature, and then witches in movie history, and it's really interesting. His last video was talking about Return to Oz and how it's super dark. So I did not tell you to scroll up. Good Bad Flicks is fun. He tends to cover more 70s stuff, but not always. Catherine Steele is a musical person. Pyramid Head is he does something called screenplay archaeology, and he'll talk about unproduced screenplays. Lady Knight the Brave. I love her videos. She does kind of video essays. She's talked about the haunting of Hill House and the haunting of Bly Manor. But one of the videos that really got me into her was she did a huge like hour-long video essay on the TV series MASH. And because of that video, I decided to watch the series this summer. And I'm not a comedy person. There was a lot in there I didn't like. I kept fast forwarding through a lot of pieces because I do not watch it for the comedy. Makes me really, really wish that the pseudo remake that came out a couple of years ago that took place in the Afghanistan war, the Gulf War, I think, or maybe the Iraqi war. I can't remember, but I never saw it. It had like a few episodes and then got canceled. But that one was more dramatic taste. There's one called Crimson Rouge, who does book reviews as well. He did a 6-hour some review on Teresa book. Okay, I don't know Teresa, but Crimson Rouge, Rogue. Let me. I'll do a search for that in a second. You know, maybe check out some of those videos. I don't tend to check out ones that are 6 hours long, but there is somebody's channel. I don't think I'm subscribed to them, but they do in-depth. They did ones on The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2. The one on The Last of Us 2 was 5.5 hours long. It's like, oh my God, but it was so informational and in-depth, like emotional analysis. It was really great. Lessons from the Screenplay is a channel I've just recently got into. He just talks about scenes from movies. Like he'll take specific scenes. Liam Catterson and Liam Duke. I think they are actual friends, and they are also do reaction videos. They're amazing. They're both doing Buffy. They're both doing Angel. They're both doing Once Upon a Time. Both doing Lucifer, I think. Jim Martin. Oh, hello, Jim. How are things down under, as some people would like to say? Sorry if that's an annoying thing, but I can't help myself. I'm a dumb American. I'm just talking about, just recommending some other channels. Little Lottie Wanders. She's a Phantom of the Opera fan like me. Everything she talks about is Phantom based in some way. Good to know. Good to know, Jim. Good to know. Mark Daniel Patrick is a vocal coach, and he listens to people performing, like Ariana Grande singing Defying Gravity, and he analyzes them. They're usually shorter videos. Maven of the Eventide. She is the vampire lady. She talks about vampire shit. Musical Hell talks about musicals. Nitro Rad talks about video games. I like Overly Sarcastic Productions. They do like history things, and they talk about tropes. There's all kinds of things. Overly Sarcastic Productions is great. Ryan Hollinger is really good. He talks about a lot of horror movies. Sideways is a guy. His niche is music, just music stuff. He has a lot of videos like why the music in the Disney remakes is worse than you think, why the music in the Les Miserables movie is worse than you think, what I love about the Star Wars music, different videos along those lines. I like your videos. Should I? I have no idea. maybe neither. Just my screen name, I guess. Spooky Astronauts and Stitched Together Pictures are really good. Spooky Astronauts. She's an Australian lady. She's from Perth. She talks about horror movies. Yes, Nitro Red does do mainly platform gaming. You're right. And Stitched Together Pics, he has a series called, he has Maniacal Cinephile, which he just reviews movies, and he also does Boots to Reboots, which is talking about the differences between a remake and its original form. My teenage son introduced me to video games for some reason, and I'm playing a horror game he recommended me. This place called It's called Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm just confused, mate. I'm just 47-year-old. Fair enough. I just call Five Nights at Freddy's the jump scare simulator. My son is actually obsessed with that. I won't let him play it because it costs money, but he watches YouTube videos of people playing it and music videos with music people have written for the games all day. Like, I've been listening ever since I started the stream. I've been listening to Five Nights at Freddy's music. I completely understand. I mean, I'm more of a gamer than that, but I understand. Believe me. Strange Rebel Gaming. She's a gamer. She's actually really popular. Her name is Brianna White, and she actually is the voice of Aerith in the Final Fantasy VII remake. Super Carlin Brothers talks about a lot of MCU and Disney and Harry Potter stuff. Super Horror Bros gamer, horror video gaming. The Completionist video games. The Deadly Analysis podcast. Now, they've been reasonably inactive lately. There must be some family stuff or just schedules aren't matching up or whatever, but it's usually 2 to 4 people, sometimes just one person, but usually it's at least 3 people who get together and they talk about horror movies and they analyze them. So that's a lot of fun. You should check out their stuff. Age is just a number. Proof? Oh, pizza! I kind of love you because every single word that comes out of your mouth, I'm like, what are they saying? With like, because you're referencing things I don't understand, and that's fine. I kind of love that, but it's just funny how it happens. On the back studying animals with my crew, I encountered a gator nearly killed me. Oh, that sucks. One called No Clip does fantastic games documentaries. Okay, No Clip. I'll have to keep an eye on that one too. The Horror Guru, Todd in the Shadows, and Wait in the Wings also talks about musicals, actually. So those are those. And you should give them a shot. You really should. Somebody is channeling a very famous Aussie. I'm glad you managed to scare it away. I really am. So, since you're from Australia, maybe you can fill me in on this. I understand there are different geographical areas. I've seen maps and stuff. Comics Atop the Fourth Wall, yeah. Why can't I think of his actual name? I have checked out some of his videos, not in the comics. He doesn't touch graphic novels very often. I've watched some of his horror-related ones. He's not a favorite of mine. He does some good videos, but he just doesn't do stuff I'm generally interested in as much. Used to like channel also, and I stopped watching him before all the shit went down regarding that channel. But I more or less purged that channel out of my existence the second the Beauty and the Beast remake came out. And I can handle people having different opinions than me, but when they're just ranting, venting assholes about it, you dump those toxic bitches from your life. I have to buy guns and all that. If the animal is too aggressive, I have to shoot or attacks me. Hey, that's pretty bad. But guys, my throat is actually starting to hurt a little bit. So I should probably let y'all go. I'm glad you came. I'm glad you chatted with me. And it definitely probably helped my channel stats, which is what I won't lie. It's kind of what I was hoping for. I just, my channel was dead for so long. I'm trying to get it up a little bit. You enjoy that coffee. Seriously, coffee is the life when it's not tea. That's the life. Coffee is like need to wake up now. Tea is I'm going to drink it all day and keep myself going. Awesome. I missed when I loved that and all the reviews there. Well, you know what? There is nothing wrong with going back and watching the videos you still loved. I just haven't done it. There is one video that they had that if I'm in the mood, I will go back and watch it again because I loved that video. But I just, I didn't like them. Like there's some that I liked, and I was just discovering YouTube at the time, really, as a review platform. Because like 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't even think about it as a review platform. I just thought of it as a place where you find cat videos and some fan videos and bootlegs. So okay. Well, I hope she does well in college. All right, you guys, thank you for coming. I hope you all had a good time, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye, guys.